Hi, my name is Taylor Carden, and I'm an account executive at xiQ. Joining me today to help me walk through xiQ's platform is Jaime Diglio.
Hi, I'm Jaime Diglio, and I'm the founder of InFirst Consulting. And what I do is I help sales teams win. And I do that by giving them a competitive edge. And one of the tools that I use is xiQ. I'm a partner with xiQ. I've been working with them for years, and I'm so excited to continue to educate my clients and people around xiQ and their ability to help sellers be more competitive and really understand their buyers in a completely different way. So I'm excited to be here today and talk about some of the new features and some of the real problems that sellers and sales managers are dealing with today.
Well, Jaime, we have a lot to show today. We're going to be breaking up into different segments. And today, just to set the pace of what we're going to be going through, is I'm going to be a seller from ServiceNow selling one of my automated technology solutions. And we're going to be selling into BMO Bank. So we're going to be starting really high level of how we kind of create an account plan, all the way down to really reaching out to our prospect and using xiQ's newest and greatest features to do so. So I'm going to start sharing my screen, and I'm going to be jumping into the browser version of xiQ. Although we do want to point out we do have different integrations into Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, in your email inbox, whether that be Gmail or Outlook as well. But here's going to be my instance of xiQ, again, in that browser version. And so when we first start our account research, Jaime, we want to start with the person. And I, as a sales rep, need to go and understand the macroeconomic things that are really affecting the company that I want to sell into. And so, Jaime, to highlight some things, what are some pain points that you see in the market in terms of lack of research when they go about their company?
Well, I think one of the things as a seller, it can be super overwhelming to understand like what is going on, what is the most timely thing happening at the companies that you're looking to prospect into. And so from a seller's perspective, it's like, how do you make sure that you're not spending all your time on things that don't matter? And then from a manager's perspective, it's like, how do I make sure I'm coaching my teams on where to focus their time within these accounts? So there's just so much information, and it can really limit the ability for sellers to be out there really selling, and get caught up in too much information.
So really narrowing down on the right information. So within xiQ, you can go ahead. We have our dashboard. This is essentially your home screen. These are the top accounts I'm already following. But again, if I wanted to break into a new account, such as BMO, all I would have to go and do is look in the navigation bar and search that particular company's name. So in this case, BMO. Scrolling down, I can go through and find the correct company I'm targeting. Here, BMO sits within the matching companies. And I could double click into who they are and what they do. And here's a whole library of information. We can do anything from the overview, financial highlights, sales triggers, so anytime they're in the news, staff, financials, and more. But one thing that xiQ recently rolled out, Jaime, is the SWOT analysis. And how many times have we told sales reps, or even myself, that I should go look at the SWOT analysis, whether that be in 10K reports or in reports or in the news, but no one's doing it. No one was doing it, that we didn't have the time.
Right. Well, I know. And it's like there's no excuse for it. I mean, it's the easiest place for where you're going to get the clues to what you need to, to focus on for your client. But yeah, I mean, the reality is, are you taking the time to do that? So that's what I love about this. And the clients that I work with xiQ, they love this feature because it just brings it all forward and it's all in one place. It's super easy, right? It's all there condensed for you to be able to look at in a simplified view.
Exactly. We want to sell a solution instead of just a product, something that's actually going to help them. So really discovering those weaknesses and threats and then aligning your solution to those is really important. So from here, I could read this, but again, if I wanted to save some time, I could just go to the top and start asking Gilroy the things I'm looking for. So Gilroy is xiQ's large language model and AI. We integrate with a large language model that was really great at copywriting, really great at putting things into sentences, But unfortunately, they're stopped at 2021. It wasn't getting the most relevant information. And it also wasn't looking at kind of the macro level or personalities, which we'll tie into later. So here I could double click into Gilroy and I could start asking him different questions. So for example, what are BMO's technology challenges? And within seconds, Gilroy's able to summarize these for me so I can go and start aligning my solution to this.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, just Taylor, just in terms of the timing, the relevance of the information, as you mentioned, being able to pull real-time data, that's so important because if you're doing, I mean, if you're pulling this and it's got old data, like what's the point? You need to have real-time data to be able to deal with real-time problems that are going on in your prospect account.
Exactly. If you don't have that real-time data, it's going to be stale and things are changing so fast. And one thing xiQ did to stay ahead of the curve and allow sales reps the most relevant information is create Document Hub. So right now, Gilroy's pulling from any publicly available information up to the date. But when it comes to those private documents that maybe you don't want to be sent out or don't want on the internet, we need to be able to access those as well. So here down in the left-hand corner is our Document Hub we recently rolled out. We can double click into it and it allows us to upload those PDFs, PowerPoints, or any other marketing collateral that may have statistics or case studies that may want to be kept private in your server. So here you can upload those documents, and this allows Gilroy to start parsing that information over time and adding it to your prompts or your emails that you may later send out.
Yes. And so Taylor, so just I'll pause you here because this is something that I get a lot of questions from people about what's the security around this if we're, we're using this. And so that's what I love about the feature here is from it's all of your company information, your case studies, everything that you are putting into Document Hub, that it's behind your own private firewall. So it's not being, sent out into the OpenAI platform for everybody else to see. This is your private information. I wanted to mention that because that's a huge thing, right? People want to understand the security around what they're searching for and making sure that that's not out there in the public domain.
Yes, security is a great concern for everyone nowadays, and people
Yes.
who are rolling out these things want to make sure it's really tied up and all kind of loose ends are tied up there because that's so important for your security as well as the accuracy of the information that's coming into that. And that's why xiQ built this. And so once you upload that, it's going to be for your organization or even for your region if you're a really large organization. And maybe it's not sales reps that are managing this. A lot of times it's going to be someone who sits within the organizational structure of maybe a SharePoint or your own internal systems.
Yep. And even more recently, like I've had a number of conversations with people who do run security at their companies. And the reason why is because they're looking for a solution that is able to do this, but also in a secure way. So it's very timely. And that's why I just wanted to mention it.
So now we've uploaded our documents into our document hub for Gilroy to start parsing on a more granular level. So we can jump back into BMO, the company that I'm targeting as a sales rep, and start asking him what ServiceNow solutions really align to BMO's challenges. So here it'll give me a list of solutions that I can pick from to start selling in to BMO.
Great example. So if you're a seller though, you're going to have a specific thing you're selling. So how do you tailor, get it? How do you tailor your communication to the right people that's aligned to the thing you are selling, the services you're selling?
That's a great question, Jamie. And I'm going to refer that question over to Gilroy because I don't want to have to put in the work in a line. I'm just going to ask Gilroy what challenges that BMO might currently be encountering. Could ServiceNow's automated technology service operations, the solution that I'm selling, how could they align? How could it help in that specific pain point? And Gilroy will then give me those value propositions, zooming even further in on how I should create my sales pitch. So here points out some of the pain points, and then aligns that specific solution. So now, Jamie, we have our company on the macro level. I have my solutions alignment. But it all comes down to those buyers. And there is a lot of them out there today, it seems like.
Right. Well, and then that's the thing. Like you can have the greatest message in the world, but if you're sending it to the wrong person, you're not going to get anywhere. Right? You do
Exactly.
all your research, you craft these beautiful emails, but how do you know that they're going to connect with the person you're reaching out to?
Exactly. And there's so many of them. You can't reach out to all of them. It's just not possible. As much as we'd love to, it's not scalable to have that white glove service with 12 or more decision makers and 6 or more accounts that you're focusing on or targeting in your month.
Right.
So here, xiQ has our buyer relationship management page. And Jaime, I know this is a coined term that you love that I say is CRMs track revenue, but not relationships. So xiQ really wanted to build a tool to give sales reps a visual. I'm a visual learner, a visual of who they are, what they do, and where they sit in their buyer's journey. So here I've added all my potential buyers that could be involved in me selling to BMO. And they're categorized into doers, coaches, and blockers by our AI. So our doers are confident, fast-paced. Our coaches are problem-oriented and expected to take immediate action. And our blockers are those really strategic thinkers. This is totally collaborative and customizable. You can add different people, drag and drop, add notes, and add different members of your team to collaborate on this.
Yeah, I mean, this is like next level. This is the piece that people, I've been saying this for years, right? Like you understanding your buyer, really understanding the behaviors that the way they show up, the way they want to be communicated to, the things they're going to listen to, they differ. This is the cheat code. This is the cheat code. And you know what? Your buyers, potential buyers are going to appreciate this because you're going to create a better buying experience for them because you're communicating in a way that they want to. So powerful.
Exactly. And we're looking at different things. And I might not always want to sell into the same role. I want to sell into the relationship that's going to put me forth. So here, Gilroy, of course, Gilroy is on every single page of xiQ. He's your sales assistant. I could go into every single one of these profiles. I could read through everything. But again, time is of the essence. So I just want to ask Gilroy. Here I have the prompt of libraries, but of course I want to ask it a custom prompt. And so for this prompt, I'm going to be suggesting any conversation topics or icebreakers that might resonate with the personalities. So this will break down all those different personalities and give me 3 quick notes on how I could discuss things with them if I went into a meeting. But again, we're searching for our champion. And Jaime, I don't know if you hear this a lot, but I hear this so often is we don't get time with our buyers. And our buyers are often going into closed-door rooms and advocating for our solution without us there. So I really need to find one person, help them really speak through my product and deliver those value propositions, and then deliver that to their end decision maker. So I need to find one person out of these 12, and
Right.
that can be a process. But again, I can just go ahead and ask Gilroy. So who would have the best sales alignment with me? Who's going to get along with me off the bat? Who's going to understand my selling style and receive it in a way that's valuable?
Yes.
And that person's going to be Cameron Fowler. It gave us it within seconds. So now that I understand my buyer group and who I'm targeting, I can then go look at my champion that I chose, Cameron. I can go into his profile. I can see who he is, what he does, where he works. And again, I could go and read all this information. xiQ has a whole list of sales alignments, news Cameron's been in, any of his social media, and then of course, how to work with him. But what I really want to do is go look at Gilroy. Before I go into Gilroy, I want to ask Jaime a question. What are the pain points that you see people having when writing emails to particular prospects?
I'm always saying is like you have to understand like do they want it short and quick to the, quick to the point? Do they want data up front? Do they build rapport? What is the best way to write something? Because one of the biggest challenges, and I see this with sellers all the time, is that they're just doing like one size fits all communication. And they're doing it in a way that they are comfortable with how they present, present the information. But this is the world doesn't revolve around you. And people see and want to be communicated with in different ways. And so this is sort of like an eye opener for sellers in terms of how to think about communicating with different people based off of different personalities. And this is, a lot of where I focus on coaching and training with the people that I work with, the sales teams that I work with, because how do you bring this to life, right? We're educating you on this is how Cameron likes to be communicated to, and not just like you're going to get the meeting because you're going to have this cheat sheet here on how to send him the email to get the first meeting, but then how do you actually show up in that way? So that's one of the biggest challenges I find for sellers is like they're just doing everything like plug and play, and they're not thinking about the context. I always say, you can have the greatest content, but if you don't have the context of the individual, and this is literally giving you the way that person wants to communicate, and they're giving it to you fast.
And that content and context leads to that aim and intention that AI is really meant about. And right. I want to do a shameless plug for Jaime. Jaime has a TED Talk that I recommend everyone go listen to about how you really use AI for aim and intention to increase your sales.
Yes, I love it. Taylor, you're the best.
So here we have Gilroy. Gilroy, again, is our sales assistant. If I didn't want to go and research and open every tab to see who Cameron is and how I really relate to him, I just want to know what his personal goals are. I understand what BMO's goals are, but what are Cameron's? What's in it for him as an individual? So here I could double click into this prompt and ask, what are the business objectives that Cameron is actually focused on at his job? And these are the things that I need to align my solutions results to and tie them into to really allow him to put his buy-in into my solution. But then it's all about that outreach. Outreach is painful. I know I can sit there for 5 minutes before I even get the first sentence. Do I start with a, hi, how are you? How was your weekend? Do I say, here are the following bullet pointed out? It's a hard thing to start, definitely if sales reps aren't familiar with their buyer. So this uses the large language model, uses all that publicly available information, ties things in from your own document hub, and then goes even one step further and looks at Cameron's personality. Right. I think ChatGPT, there's a huge pain point there right now. Jaime, you said it yourself. Every single email sounds the same.
Oh yeah, you get so clear when you can tell that people are not, this is about the competitive advantage that sellers have is and this is, this is the state of where we're at today, is the more real and the more authentic you can be as showing up as yourself, is going to make you that much more successful. And with the challenge with ChatGPT, we know this, like you can look at an email and you can tell, right? We want to be able to use this to give you smarter ways to craft your emails, to think about how do you put your messages together. This is giving it to you very quickly, this message. But I'm also going to say is do not just copy and paste it. Okay. We want you to add your nuance in there. We want you to add your personality in there because that's you. And so this is the guide for it, but we want you to then go in and make it yours. So that's a really, really important point here is like we're helping you get all of the information and bringing it forward and bringing it all together in this one condensed area. But you at the end of the day, you have to make it yours. You have to make, your special sauce, your special thing in there, that it's going to make it real.
And it's looking at that personality and tying in those job titles and adding your own personality, You don't want to just look at the personality of your prospect, but also you want to be personable. So here xiQ is thinking strategically. You're not asking it anymore to write one email. How often do we send one email and we get a book a meeting? Not often. So here we want to ask it to write 3 emails and then align our solution to Cameron's pain points. Here it'll give you a subject line, your introduction, your value propositions, and a call to action. And it goes down and does this for more emails, adding statistics from your documents in your document hub, and writing out those emails that you can quickly, again, like Jaime said, go personalize and send out within seconds. I can't emphasize this enough. Seconds that you can get these emails written out for you. This isn't just meant for one sales rep, one partner. It's meant for those sales reps that are still building their credibility, still building their connections, and that need the content to really connect with their prospects.
Well, right. And I think that again, this is part of the piece of it. To be a successful seller, to be a competitive seller, you have to know your clients. You have to be deeply invested in knowing them. And part of that, right, is getting the door open. But then also then once you're in the meeting, when you get the meeting, like how are you really leaning in with curiosity? How are you continuing to build that connection, not just from the platform, but then into, in the in-person meeting? So powerful.
And leading into that, there's no room in the market for unprepared sales reps. It's a hard market right now. I mean, if you look at the economic conditions that in technology revolutions that people are going through, it's kind of adapt or die, or you need to take these tools that other companies are already implementing and look at it and include them into your sales strategy and really empower your sales reps, because again, it's a competitive market. Everyone's going to know everything about their partners, not just buyers, but partners, because that's the way we need to look at it, and really give them value. So you need to be prepared.
This is no longer, sort of there's this stigma, or maybe I'm sure there are reps like this still today, but you can no longer just wine and dine your prospects and your clients. Like you have to come with a real point of view, a real perspective. What are you thinking about XYZ? And so part of this as well is like, this isn't just about, get the email and just, spit it off to your prospects. Using the tools that are here, the SWOT analysis, understanding what's going on in your organization. How do you think about aligning your product or whatever you're offering, whatever you're selling to the customer needs? This is all education for you as a seller. Like, how do you quickly get up to speed and be smart? Because you're super curious about how you can better align with your prospect. And when you have all this information, right, it's like I said, it's like the cheat code, and you're doing it because you want to, at the end of the day, you want to really stand out, to your clients that you've done your homework. So, I mean, it's a game changer in terms of your ability to pull everything together in a short amount of time and have it all in one place.
And looking at standing out, I get 1 million emails a day. This might not hit for Cameron. Maybe he's not someone who looks at his emails very often. So we have to think about how do we conversate over different social media platforms, and how do we show him us in different spaces?
Yes.
So let's say Cameron refuses to read my emails. I sent him these 3 beautiful emails and he's just not opening it. I have to go to LinkedIn. I have to go to Twitter. I have to think outside of the box. So here, jumping back to BMO, I could just ask it to write a LinkedIn post for me. So I want everyone to think really creatively about the things that they want to see in their sales process, and then ask Gilroy to do it for them. So here, write a LinkedIn post on the value propositions of ServiceNow's automated technology service. It wrote out this email or this LinkedIn post. This is too long. I want it streamlined. So this is conversational. I can ask Gilroy to go back and streamline this out for me. And here I get my value propositions. It gives me everything from my hashtags to my call to action. And I can start tagging Cameron in this, aligning it to things that he's actually interested in. Just another way to think outside the box.
1,000%. And absolutely, you got to shorten this down or take it out and like make, do a post about a couple of the things, in making it real. So important. But this is also sort of when I talk with clients about, and I'm working with sellers around, this is a part of your social surround strategy. That's what I call it. When this is how you get people to buy without feeling sold. What you're doing is this combination of, using LinkedIn as a powerful tool to get your message out. So people are going to note, they're going to notice. There's a whole bunch of other things around this, but this is a way to start to get people to notice and show up. And it's also to think about, we're talking about Cameron here, but also, thinking about in using the tools to understand who are the other people that surround Cameron, because maybe Cameron's the person like everybody's going to, right? If you think about, who everybody's going to for everything, but who is the person that is like the co-pilot or the other person that Cameron's working with that is actually doing a lot of this, making a lot of the decisions. So it's about thinking strategically about, okay, we understand Cameron, how he wants to communicate, but then also who are the other people that are surrounding and supporting the same initiatives that Cameron is trying to deliver on, and how do we think about connecting with them? So that's the big piece about this as well. And so how we can use the platform to be able to pull that information so that we're creating a strategy here around thinking about who's thinking about these key problems and trying to solve for these. And it's not just Cameron. So that's where we start, but it's also, again, thinking about that broader strategy.
And looking at that broader strategy, if I wanted to, I could go through all these steps. But let's say I don't know anything about Bank of Montreal. I just know my KPIs that I need to reach with them. Jumping here, I have a smart account plan. So previously we had downloadable dossiers, but now it's customizable. So everything from your account overview, you're going to add your objectives and goals, whether that be key performance or KPIs.
Your team announced this most recently, and I've shown this to customers. They love it, obviously. I mean, who doesn't love this? This is account planning is like, it takes up so much time. And to have this ready-made to be able to use, it is huge to have this as a seller, as a manager, just real-time information on everything that you're doing for and planning for an account.
Exactly. And previously we had research teams going and doing the research.
Right.
They'd give it to you 2 days later. You'd present it 2 more days later, and then great, it's already a week old. Now I need to go back and ask them for a new one. And this is on demand. You can even have it automatically update every month.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, this is the other thing, right? You have people in sales roles because they're really good at selling. If I wanted to become a researcher, I would have become a researcher. And I can guarantee you, I am not a great researcher. I'm a salesperson, right? So I want to be able to quickly get the information and be able to take that information and be able to translate and communicate it to my prospect, my client in a timely manner, right? Not doing behind the scenes, doing all of this research. So just having it ready at hand is so powerful. I can't say enough about this new feature. I'm so excited that xiQ has added this.
And so, Jaime, this was just really the tip of the iceberg. This is the high-level automation that you can really get with xiQ. And as we roll through this, there's so many more features we could go on and show. But if you wanted to book a meeting, of course, with myself or with Jaime to walk you through these, we'd be more than happy to do so.
Yes.
Jaime, did you have anything else to add?
We have this tendency to make everything harder than it needs to be. And I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be this difficult. We do not have to have, 87 systems to give us one point of view. This simplifies everything for the seller and for the sales manager. And, I'm so happy to be able to introduce this platform because the behavioral side, the person, the individual behind the name, and that the way people like to be communicated to is so critical. It's everything that I focus on with all my clients and coaching them on how do you really connect and communicate with your buyers. It game changer. So I'm excited, as you continue to roll out new features and excited to just introduce the platform to more people. Thanks, Taylor.
Yes, less clicks to insights. We want to help you, so help us help you. Jaime, thank you so much. You've been an amazing industry leader and partner for xiQ over the years. And I appreciate you spending some time walking through xiQ with me this morning.
Thank you so much, Taylor. It's been so fun.